That was a bite. So far, I haven't had anything. I arrived at the pond just after first light, and I was immediately struck by both the solitude of having this entire place to myself, but then also the wonderful sounds of the birds in the trees greeting a new morning. So today, we're starting off the morning at one of my favorite places to fish, the little bluegill pond behind me. I fished here a few times, and every time that I come, it's a great experience. And when I pulled up, I saw there was a little bit of topwater activity, so let's go ahead and get to fishing. So one of the challenges of fishing this early in the morning is that you can't really see when you have a fish on. You're mostly going by feel, bringing the rod up slowly, bringing it back, and then casting out again. And if that line feels tight, then I know I've got a fish on. So far, I haven't had anything. Oh, look at that. So I just had to pause fishing for a minute and one, admire the sunrise coming up. But then two, there's also a bird in the tree behind me. Not the goose, but every time it makes its call, there's a bird that's just over there, and it responds. They've been talking back and forth for a few minutes now. I wonder what they're saying. Here's a look at the pond now that the sun has come up. Really just an absolute beautiful place to go fishing. The fishing itself has been a little bit slow, especially as the sun has come up. We've been fishing in the dark for a little bit now, but I'm hoping that once the sun continues to come up, that the fishing will get a little bit better. At this next spot, I immediately caught a leaf. Really though, this second spot was chosen because I felt like the structure that was right at the water's edge, as well as some of those brush and cover right around the edge of the pond, would provide a good place for fish to be. And even though it took me a little while, as you'll see here in just a second, that theory proved to be true. That was a bite. Hit it coming up. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and move to a new spot. That first spot that we were at, nothing much was going on, although I did see a little bit of rising activity. So once we get to the next spot, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to a dry fly. All right, so here we are at the second section. As you can see, kind of there's a lot of There's a lot of plants. There's some rocks over there. So I'm thinking that all this structure would be a pretty good place for some fish to hang out in. So we got the geese over there. They're very chatty this morning. So what I threw on is just a small Griffins gnat. We'll see if this gets us anything here. I moved back to one of the earlier spots that I'd been at the pond, and this time I was able to get into a fish. Besides the geese, the other thing that interrupted this fishing trip was that it started to rain. Here you can see it a little bit on the water. And ultimately, though, that rain would pick up significantly, and so I would have to wrap up sooner than I wanted. I was able to get another bluegill. Still, getting rained out is never a way that I want to wrap up a day on the water. Despite that, though, I was grateful for the time that I did get to fish, the fish that I caught, and ultimately getting to spend some time in nature.